Today, communicating is more important than ever, and the way we do that with podcasting is unique. It gives you the ability to reach people on a real intimate level. People get to know you, and podcasting is something that is just really roaring and taking off. Well, I got to tell you, my podcast is now emerged and going strong. I'm loving it, and I am with a company called Libsyn. They are one of the best in the world, and I say that objectively and personally, and they've got a lot of good ideas that can help you. And matter of fact, right now I'm here at their booth at PodFest talking to Rob Walch. Walch, the VP of Podcast Relations, is that right?
That's right, Terry. Thank you.
Thank you for being here with us. So tell us a little bit about what you see happening with podcasting today and how people are using that.
Well, podcasting is a great communication tool. It allows one-on-one with your listener, with your audience. And the beauty of podcasting is there's no limit. You can make the episodes as long as you want, as short as you want, so you don't have to be in pitch mode. You can just talk casually with your audience and really inform them. You don't have to sell your product. I think that's the biggest difference between podcasting and where you say have radio, where you're paying for airtime and you're so concerned about every second, making every second count. People go overboard on pitching. Where podcasting, you're building a relationship and you know it's long-term, week after week. And that there's a lot of great brands that are doing podcasting. John Deere does podcasting, Consumer Reports does podcasting, HBO, eBay has a great podcast called eBay for Business, which is for the sellers on eBay. So people are using it again to promote their brand, promote their products, and grow their relationship with our customer base.
Yeah, I particularly like what you're saying because for me as an old radio guy, starting out, we know that radio is one of the most intimate forms of communication. People bond with that radio DJ, that radio host. They envision who they are in their mind. They see that person. Sometimes when they see them, it's different. Podcasting does that in a big way. But now a lot of people, like for me, example, I thought, wait a minute, there's a bazillion podcasts out there. Everyone's got one. What good am I going to do? You had a message the other day that addressed that in a beautiful way. What would you say to the person who, like me, just a little while ago, was saying, I shouldn't do a podcast because everybody's doing one. There's a billion of them out there.
There's not as many as people think, and you have to put it in perspective, too. Now, you hear the number like 900,000 podcasts. Well, that number isn't even real. The real number is about 250,000. That's the number of active podcasts that are releasing new episodes in the last 90 days, have at least 10 episodes. So it's only 250,000. You go, 250,000 is a lot. No, it's really tiny compared to the 650 million blogs. So compare 650 million to 250,000, so 2,700 to 1 ratio of bloggers to podcasters. That is a huge difference. And if you're a woman bloggers to podcasters is over 5,000 to 1 ratio. So you really can stand out from the crowd as a podcaster versus bloggers.
Yeah, I like the way you're saying that, and I think also it's like the analogy I think you might have used, magazines. There's magazines that are really specific, and even though I wouldn't say, well, I'm not going to get another magazine because there's so many magazines. No, it's really good. What kind of results are you seeing for business for those that are using podcasting?
Well, so let's give this as an example. Let's say you have 500 listeners to your podcast, and some people go, that number seems small. When's the last time you got in front of an audience of 500 people and talked to 500 people in a room? That's a huge room when you think about 500 people. Now think about being able to do that every week. Week over week over week. And then some shows get up 1,500, 3,500, listening to a podcast about their product or the market that their product is in. It can be really unique. I have a card here. What's this one here? Bird Call. It's a podcast about bird calls.
Amazing. I love it.
There's one called Chameleon Breeders Podcast. It's not for people that own chameleons. It's for people that breed chameleons. It's 800 downloads an episode. Think about that. 800 people in this world actually breed chameleons. Who would have thought there's that many? All right. So he probably has pretty much the corner on the market. But you can make podcasts that unique. There's one backyard beekeeping that I talked about. It can be any subject you want it to be on, and that's the beauty of podcasting. And you don't have to make it to everyone. You're just making it for your core audience, who your target audience is.
I like it. Well, I'm not going to let you get away without telling us a little bit about Libsyn. I'm using it, loving it right now. Why would someone that's thinking about getting into a podcast want to use Libsyn?
We make it easy to get your content everywhere. It's not just about getting your content on your webpage. Matter of fact, what we find out in podcasting is less than 5% of consumption comes from your webpage. 94% comes from what's called an RSS feed. That's how you distribute podcasts. So we can get you into Apple Podcasts, Pandora, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Radio.com, Deezer, all these different places where people are listening to audio. And here's a really important thing for people to remember. There's more time in the day to consume audio than any other form of medium. Where you're walking the dog, working out, driving your car, doing yard work, you can be listening to a podcast. When you're driving the car, you can't be watching video. Not safely, at least.
Exactly. Now, someone says, okay, I'm interested, I want to find out more. Spell Libsyn, how they can get in touch with you and find out more information.
So Libsyn stands for Liberated Syndication, and it's spelled LIBSYN.com. And you can email me, rob@libsyn.com. So Rob as in Robert, ROB@libsyn.com.
Rob Walch, you do an amazing job. I really appreciate what you're doing for me as a customer and also for the industry. Thank you for joining us.
Terry, thank you so much for having me on.